Check out the Devils season opener against the Blues on Saturday, October 5th. And follow them all season long, only on Sports Channel.
The football tradition between CW Post and Hofstra is a rich one. It dates back to 1958. The two teams have played 28 times, making this one of the longest-running rivalries in Long Island football. Recent years have typified the intensity between the two.
All you Hofstra guys out there, we're looking for you. And, you know, CW Post will be serving breakfast out there. We're serving pancakes to you guys, all right? So you bring your own syrup.
Well, you know, I went to breakfast this morning, and I remember what Richie said, you know. And we all brought a little syrup, you know, because we didn't want to disappoint them.
Today's game will be the last between the schools as Hofstra pursues a Division I AA schedule for the future. Fittingly, the series is tied at 14 games each. Today, Post and Hofstra will battle one more time to see who writes the final chapter.
Live from CW Post campus in Brookville, New York, Sports Channel presents Metro College Football. Today, two Long Island powerhouses, Hofstra and Post, will clash on the gridiron of Hickox Field. It's Long Island's version of the big game. Harvard-Yale, Army-Navy, two neighboring rivals clashing in what should be a physical, emotional game. Hi again, everybody. I'm Barry Landers, joined by former Jet star Marty Lyons. Should be a war out here today, Marty.
It's going to be a very physical game. When you talk about the Army-Navy, let's get it down to reality. The Jet Giant, the pride of Long Island.
Talking about Hofstra first, they came off a 20-point loss against a very good New Hampshire club. Joe Gardy not that displeased with his team's play last week.
Well, it was the first time that they've lost a regular season game in 2 years. They were physically beat by a bigger, stronger, more talented New Hampshire team.
They lost their starting quarterback, Michael Dodo. George Beisel came in, did a pretty good job. Mark Cox had a great game returning kicks. What do you look for from Hofstra today?
Well, you got to keep Beisel healthy. If he's not healthy, if the ball's not in his hand, it's going to be a long day for Hofstra's offense.
Defensively, Hofstra's been giving up a lot of points and a lot of yardage in the last couple of games. One guy playing superbly is linebacker Jeff Brown.
Jeff Brown's been doing a tremendous job. Last week he had 16 tackles. He's the leader of that defense, but he's got to get the secondary playing better. They've been giving up too much yardage on the pass, and the deep pass has been there every week.
Post comes in 2-0. Tom Marshall says this is the best team he's had in 9 years. They've got excellent players on both sides of the football.
Well, offensively, they've got an excellent quarterback. They got an excellent running back in Brushka that can get the ball outside. Tom Marshall says when he gets the ball outside, he's going to see the end zone.
Tom Marshall loves defense. His defense playing very well. They haven't given up a touchdown so far. The key guy, Troy Wilkes. Troy Wilkes is being looked at by every NFL scout. He's a big, explosive type of a linebacker. He's 6'4", 230 pounds, a Lawrence Taylor type of a linebacker. He'll be isolated over the weak part of Hofstra's offensive line. Should be a dandy, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
Metro College Football is brought to you by Hofstra University. Call 516-HOFSTRA. Hofstra University. We teach success.
The Hofstra University campus is one of only 65 in the nation recognized as an arboretum with over 6,000 trees representing over 200 different varieties. The Hofstra Museum, one of only 45 nationally accredited university museums with 40 exhibitions each year. The internationally recognized Hofstra Cultural Center, and over 500 cultural events each year available to students and the public. Hofstra University. We teach success.
For these demanding times, BMW introduces the safest 3 Series ever built, with a near-zero maintenance engine and perfectly balanced handling. The dramatically new 325i. BMW meets the demands of the 90s with its spirit intact.
See the new 325i at the Vail BMW in Edgewater, New Jersey. Only 5 minutes from the George Washington Bridge adjacent to Fort Lee. Call toll-free 1-800-866-1539. Sports Channel in October kicks off a whole new season of non-stop excitement. The opening face-off drops for the Islanders and Devils when they battle the Stanley Cup champion Penguins, Gretzky's Kings, and the expansion San Jose Sharks. Local gridiron rivalries heat up in the Metro College Football Game of the Week. Relive the most memorable games from the last 4 decades on baseball's greatest games. And coming in November, Nets basketball with Rookie of the Year Derek Coleman. Sports Channel this fall. A lot to get excited about.
Field, Barry Landers along with Marty Lyons. Let's go down to the field and Carl Reuter.
All right, Barry, thank you very much. As you and Marty alluded to, and as we talked about at the top, this is the last time Hofstra will play CW Post. Now, earlier today, I asked Coach Tom Marshall of CW Post his feelings about being dropped from the schedule by Hofstra.
Well, I don't know it's so much of being dropped. It's just that they want to go 1AA, and they feel that they don't want to play threes. Carl, we'll be a 2 in 2 years, so we felt that maybe we could still have a chance on the schedule, but I don't think so.
You've been on both sidelines. Mixed emotions today?
No, I'm a post rooter. I coach post, and I'm a post rooter. I like the game, and it's always been a great one for us. And when it was Thanksgiving, it was a tremendous game, and I just hate to see it be dropped.
Barry can feel the tension and the emotions down here on the sidelines, so let's go back upstairs to you, Marty, for the opening kickoff.
Thank you, Carl. At CW Post, we'll be kicking off. Marty O'Brien to kick off to Mark Cox, number 25, and Carlos Smith, number 83. Cox, of course, last week, tremendous week of returning kicks. Had a 97-yard kickoff return. All told, gained 253 yards in return yardage last week.
He's an excellent return man. He's the franchise type of player here for Hofstra. He does everything. But as Tom Marshall said, he wants to start the defense out there first in every game. He wants to shut down the opponent. He has the opportunity to do it right here.
Special teams could be the key. And we're underway. The 29th meeting between these two schools. High end-over-end kick. Cox will take it at the 3-yard line. To the 15. Stays on his feet and is down as he crosses the 25 up to the 27-yard line. Will be 1st and 10 for the Hofstra Flying Dutchman. David Jedidian, number 96, brought him down. Hofstra, of course, loaded offensively. Mark Cox and the receivers, Scott Millington and Wayne Morris, the best. The offensive line, it's a good one. They had their hands full last week. Chris Cameron's a good one. And, of course, the quarterback is George Beisel, making his first start. Took over for Michael Dodo when he got hurt in the first quarter last week. On 1st down, in the run and shoot, rolling right, under pressure. Rolling to the near sideline and shoved out of bounds after he picked up about 4 as he was run down after a pickup of 4. Brought down, as we look at Beisel's numbers, by Derek Perez, number 15. And Beisel, of course, did a good job last week. 19 for 48, but sacked 7 times, Marty. As you mentioned, that'll be a key if he can withstand the pressure.
Well, the one thing Beisel has to do is if he's going to roll left or right, if the pass is not there, he's got to pick up that positive yards. Right there, he picked up 4. Now it's 2nd and 6.
His hand apparently healed. Remember, he suffered lacerations of his hands in that opening game against Bucknell. Keep it on the ground here to Cox. Cox with a nice hole. Has the 1st down as he gets to the 40-yard line. Brought down by Dom Leone, number 6, who plays a strong side outside linebacker spot.
And, Barry, that's the way to free up your wide receivers. Hand the ball off to Mark Cox. Let him run it up the middle. That's going to open up the passing game for Hofstra today.
Cox averaging over 10 yards a carry. It only carried 10 times before today's game. 1st and 10 up at the 41-yard line. Beisel, who's a good runner. Rolling left, good protection. Quick pass to Morris. Morris eludes 1 tackle and fumbles the football. And it appears that the Pioneers may have recovered, and yes, they have, as Hofstra turns it over. Pat Marzo with the big hit, and the fumble recovered by Anthony Mondrone, number 56. And the first big turnover goes to the Post Pioneers.
Right here, Barry, we see Wayne Morris. He comes back off the line of scrimmage. He catches the ball. He's got to put the ball away. Right there, he's got 5 yards between him and the defender. He tries to make up some yardage. Here comes the hit on him, and he fumbles. Key turnover right there for Hofstra.
Post has not thrown the ball much in the first 2 games, but look for them to put it up a lot more today. As we have a delay right here, we'll set the offense for you. Dean Carino is the quarterback, number 9. And the running backs, Rich Cameron, number 41 at fullback. Joe Brusca is the tailback. This is a pro offense. We'll see a lot of different sets by this CW Post team. And a very sophisticated passing attack as that offensive line has one big change today. Pat Espinar filling in for the injured John Calabria at the left guard spot.
Well, the big thing, they have to go in and pick apart Hofstra's defense. Like we said in the pregame show, they've been giving up 424 yards. They've been giving up over 217 yards passing per game. Carino can take advantage of that. He's got the backs to loosen up the secondary. Now he's got excellent field position.
You saw one of the officials being attended to on the far side, apparently run into on the play on the far side. The referee is Richard D. Simone, the umpire Nicholas Cucurese, and the headlinesman Anthony Viteri as we await the resumption of play. This is the 29th meeting between these two schools. They've had a great rivalry dating back to 1958. Hofstra won that opening game 34-0 and went on to win the first 5, but then Post upset Hofstra in 1963. They didn't play for about 5 years. They resumed the rivalry in 85. Post won 20-10, and of course came up with a huge win 2 years ago at Hickox Field. Great ball possession in the game. They had the ball for 42 minutes against Rory Moss at Hofstra that time and coming up with a win. There's Joe Gardy, the Hofstra coach in his second year with a record of 14-1. Former star at the University of Maryland, and of course you know him well, Marty, from his days coaching the Jets for what, 9 years or so.
Well, 7 years, and he was the defense coordinator, special teams coach. Did an excellent job motivating the players week after week after week, and especially because we went through some tough times with the Jets 4-4-12.
All right, so play about ready to resume here. 1st and 10 for Post at the 41-yard line. Pro set in the backfield. And the pitch going to Joey Brusca, and the freshman gets a couple of tough yards before Jeff Brown ran him down, the outstanding middle linebacker. Hofstra works out of a 4-3 defense. Barry and Gifford, 2 tough tackles. The linebackers outstanding. They're the number 1, 2, and 3 tacklers on the team. Gallion and Deakins and Brown. Secondary, which has been burned a little bit, and Jimmy Salgado filling in for the injured Russell Pager out with a groin injury at one of the cornerback spots today. 2nd and let's call it 8. Cameron on the inside handoff, flag is thrown. He bounces off a couple of tackles and shoved back by a good surge by the Hofstra defensive line. Vince Gallion coming up quickly with a hit, and that's our first flag. And both teams heavily penalized this year, as we'll get the call from referee Richard D. Simone. Offside against Hofstra.
Well, Hofstra has been averaging 130 yards in penalties per game. You cannot win against a good team like Post today getting 130 yards.
Post has been averaging 112 yards in penalties a game for Tom Marshall. He says a lot of those have been very aggressive type penalties.
Well, it could be a long game then.
Defense, still 2nd down.
It's going to be a long day for us up here, Barry, if they get close to 250 yards in penalties.
So with that 5-yard walk-off, they now have a 2nd and 4 situation. They'll work out of the I formation. Cameron is the up-back. Brusca the tailback at 169 yards last week in a brilliant game against Kings Point. Play-action pass coming. Carino can't find a receiver. He's a good runner. Throws, and a fine reception by Jim Byrne, making his first start. He's been out with a knee injury, and they say he's got the best hands of the team.
Well, right there, Carino just did an excellent job. Plus, he had plenty of time. Anytime that you have that amount of time, your receivers have a way of working themselves in the open.
It's a big offensive line. Now Tom Marshall will make changes as he puts in a couple of speedsters. Marvin Hayes, number 3, and Bob Green, number 21. A couple of transfers they're very high on.
And they both have had an excellent season thus far.
Hayes will line up wide to the left, Green wide to the right. These guys can fly. Division I speed. Carino keeps it on the ground. Cameron flips it. His knee go down. He's a junior out of Bloomsburg, New York, a transfer from East Carolina, brought down by Michael Barry after a short pickup. Rich Carroll, you see big Rich Carroll right next to Tom Marshall in the sunglasses there, former star here at CW Post as an offensive lineman for 4 years. Tom Marshall would like to get some points out of this drive. Take advantage of the turnover. Carino on 2nd and let's call it 8. Good protection. Looking for the sideline for Pergola, incomplete as he was covered by Varick Boyd. Carino doesn't have the greatest of arms. They say he pushes the ball, but they're very high on his overall ability as a quarterback.
Well, Tom Marshall said he's a student of the game. He takes home film. He studies the defenders. Right there, we saw a perfect opportunity to see how Carino, he goes back in the pocket. As soon as he feels that pressure, he doesn't zip the ball. He pushes it. Right there, it came up short.
He's been bothered by a shoulder injury. They thought he had broken collarbone before the preseason. 3rd and long here. Let's see what he comes up with. Up the middle, and it is going to be complete to Green. Bobby Green, the 5'9" junior from Middletown, New York, who's got great hands, a major college receiver, they say. A transfer from Bowling Green comes up with a dandy catch.
And right there, we saw Bobby Green adjust to the ball. Carino goes back. He has plenty of time again. He lost the ball, though. He doesn't zip it, and Bob Green comes in and makes an excellent catch.
Green's 2nd catch of the day, 5th of the year. So Post on the drive right now, down to the 13-yard line. And in motion is Pergola. The pitch on the sweep. This is Brusca behind a block by Cameron, and a flag is thrown on the play. Might be a leg whip on the play. Looks like Post is going to be called for the penalty here. Well, you hate to see that. That holding call is the preliminary indication.
Especially down in the red zone, inside the 20, you have to mentally have your plays down. You have to concentrate. You can't afford to make a mistake with a strong team like Hofstra today.
We got a hold on the offense, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Tom Marshall right there looked a little concerned, Barry, because now it's 1st and 20 rather than 2nd and 6.
Carino 2 for 3 now, facing a 1st and 20 up and around the 23-yard line. On the draw, Brusca, and met head on and shoved right down. So Joey Brusca brought down, has immediately got the football over there by the inside line man, Mike Gifford, number 61.
Mike Gifford just did a tremendous job getting across the line of scrimmage, creating a new line of scrimmage. Brusca had nowhere to go except right into his arm, and he brings him down for a 3-yard loss.
You see number 53 in green going down on that play. That is their big left tackle, Glenn Crowley, one of their more experienced linemen. He's being attended to on the field right now, apparently shaken up. 6'2", 260-pound junior. Excellent pass blocker, and without John Calabria on that left side, they're going to perhaps have some trouble against this Hofstra defense.
Well, the Hofstra front 7, they're excellent. Carino has got the challenge to 4 secondary people for Post to win.
Let's see if we can pick up the injury. Keep your eye on number 53 in that pile there.
Right there, it looks like Gifford just falls on the back of his knee. And anytime you see a player falling on somebody else like that, you just hope that it's just a sprain.
Well, we've had some injuries in the early going, slowing things down. We've played only 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Tom Marshall's club with the excellent field position. Joe Gardy trying to implore his defense to come up with a big play. They've done it all year, coming up with a big sack when they've had to, but as we mentioned, they've yielded a lot of yardage.
Well, the one thing Tom Marshall told us this week, he says the best defense for the run and shoot is to keep your offense on the field. And right now, that's what he's doing. He hasn't gotten any points out of the game, but the offense is still on the field.
Glenn Crowley will leave the game, and Vince Sullivan, a 6'2", 275-pound freshman, number 77, has reported into the ball game. He is going to be a good one, they feel, and he'll play on the left side as the left tackle. 2nd and 24 at the 27-yard line. Good time for Carino up the middle, and it is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Joe Rizzo, I believe. The free safety, the senior out of Brooklyn. They call him the Sneak. He had a big interception last week, and he comes up with a big one here.
That was just a poorly thrown ball by Carino. He can't expect his receiver to go up and catch a ball when it's that far in front of him. Here he is. He's got plenty of time. He throws it back. That's what we're calling pushing the ball. There's not a lot of zip. He throws it too far out, and Rizzo makes his second interception of the season.
Anthony Pergola and Jim Byrne were there. Byrne was the intended receiver. So Hofstra backed up inside the 10-yard line. We'll put it in play at around the, let's call it 8-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Flying Dutchman. Faisal looking for the sideline throw. Is going to be a short pass to Kenny Cologne up to the 14-yard line. And well covered over there on that short pass. There's Joe Rizzo, the happy defender with his 2nd interception of the year. And that took Hofstra out of a bad position. Mark Cox, the single setback in the run and shoot. Kenny Cologne lined up wide to the right. 3 wide receivers. They go with the trips left formation. You see him at the top of your screen. Rafael Morales, one of their leading receivers, out for the season with a knee injury. Cox met in the backfield, bounces off the tackle and bounces away. Troy Wilkes with a great explosion. Looked like he was going to get him in the backfield, but Cox with those great feet able to bounce away from him and get a couple of yards back on what would have been a broken play.
We talked about Mark Cox being a franchise player. Here he is. He makes an excellent cut into the line of scrimmage. Wilkes comes in. He can't wrap him up. Cox gets another 7 yards.
Perez finally brought him down. So it's 3rd and 2. Let's see what Hofstra does on 3rd and 2 here. Ball at the 16-yard line. Morris in motion. Looks like audible at the line of scrimmage here. Faisal pitching to Cox. Cox hit, knocked out of bounds, fumbled the football. Perez hit him. Let's see where they mark the ball. They only had to pick up 2 on the play, and it's going to be short of the 1st down. 2nd fumble for the Hofstra Flying Dutchman. A couple of guys who usually don't fumble a football, sure-handed guys. Wayne Morris and Mark Cox fumbling, but they'll bring the chains in for a measurement here.
And that's also a new dimension to the run and shoot. Now you have the quarterback option. Joe Gardy is trying to open up the CW post defense right now.
No, I don't think it was good. Get your punch team ready.
Derek Perez will come up and meet Mark Cox pretty hard on that last play. Perez sticks him. He's from JFK High School. You could hear it. This team has come to play. There's going to be a lot of that kind of hitting down there. As you can see, it is just a couple of inches short, and Hofstra will send on the punting team. Ben Pitcher did not have a good week punting last week, and one advantage maybe in this game will be for Post, their kicker, Mike Manzella, one of the best in the country, averaging about 39 yards last year, and Ben Pitcher having a tough time as a freshman this year.
And he's an All-American, Barry, and the big thing Tom Marshall wants to do is keep the field position today. Right now, Joe Gardy's making an excellent decision. Don't go for it. Your defense would be back up. Let's hope that Pitcher gets a decent punt and your defense can come back out and play.
By the way, that was the 3rd interception that Carino has thrown, actually the 2nd interception this year. His percentage, 16 for 38, only 42% coming in. He's been bothered by a shoulder injury, Carino, but they feel in practice this week he was throwing much better. So Pitcher standing back at around the 3-yard line. Bobby Green is the single safety standing inside midfield at around the 47 as we watch from our end zone camera on a beautiful day here at Hickox Field in Brookville, New York. Maybe they're trying to draw him offside here with this long count. They only need inches. Post wants to come and try to block some kicks here. Not a particularly good one. Wobbles upfield, and they're going to get excellent field position out of this as the ball will die at around the 39-yard line. A very short kick. We'll give you the distance in just a moment on that kick of around 25 yards or so.
Well, Barry, in the first game when we did Hofstra Bucknell, we saw Mark Cox back there punt. And before the day's done, if pitchers continues to hit the ball like that, Mark Cox, he's being used a lot, but he's going to have to give the Hofstra defense better field position. He's going to have to punt the ball today.
Post starting play at the 39-yard line out of the I formation. Carino gives to Cameron, and he breaks into the secondary, pulls his way to the 24-yard line. 6', 240-pound junior who can run over people, they tell us, and he showed us there.
And when they talk about Cameron, they said this is an offensive guard in the backfield. it reminds you of this guy from Hammerhead, from Ironhead, from
New Orleans
Saints. He just wants to run people over, and Cameron did an excellent job right there, picking up 10 yards straight up the middle of Hofstra's defense.
He's gained nearly 4 yards every time he's carried the ball this year. First down for the Pioneers. Little mix-up. Carino wanted a hand off, it appeared, to Cameron. They collided, and Michael Barry was right there to meet him, number 77.
Right there, just the front of Hofstra's front 7. Made a new line of scrimmage. Cameron couldn't go in and couldn't go through with his fake. That's why he ran into Carino. There was no room to get the fake done.
Mike Gifford checked out of the ball game as they go with an extra defensive back here. Gifford, one of the down linemen. They'll go with 3 down linemen here, Hofstra. Loss of 1 on the play, and let's call it 2nd and 11. Ball at the 26-yard line. Dean Carino, who was 2 for 8 against Hofstra last year before dislocating a finger, fakes the draw, play action, throwing for the near sideline for Green. He's out there, diving catch. They're going to rule it, yes, complete, inside the 5-yard line at the 3.
Well, there's the connection again from Carino to Bobby Green. Bobby Green has the ability to adjust, but there's a flag on the play. We have to wait to see if the pass is going to be a completion. Right here, here's the play action fake that freezes the linebackers. Carino goes back, he throws, he gets hit as he throws the ball. But look at the ability that Bobby Green has to adjust to catching that pass that was underthrown.
Penalty apparently against Hofstra. Decline. We'll hear from
personal foul against the defense. Penalty will be declined. First down.
Rich DeSimone with the call. It appeared to be on Akinui. Carino, emotional player. They're on the drive here. Inside the 5. Goal to go. Let's call it the 3.5. They send a man in motion left to right. Here's the pitch. Brusca behind Cameron. Bounces to the end zone. He's in. And the Pioneers draw first blood as Joey Brusca rushes for his 3rd touchdown of the year, and the Post fans enjoying the early 6-0 lead.
Well, we talked about Brusca. When he got outside, he wanted to find the end zone. There's a perfect example. He followed the block of number 41, Rich Cameron, and got into the end zone. 6 points. Post is on the board first.
And they'll try the extra point here with Wayne Liebert's the kicker. Bob Cook is the holder, number 12. Liebert's 4 for 4 this year in extra points. This one is up, and this one is no good. Wide to the left. Now, one thing that Hofstra has is the edge in this part of the kicking game. Waldo Shansky, an excellent kicker. He kicked 3 field goals last week, and Wayne Liebert's just an average field goal kicker, missing that extra point there.
Well, the big thing is Hofstra's offense has got to get moving. They can't continue to try to drive 80 and 90 yards for a touchdown. Here, as we look right here, Brusca comes in, takes the pitch. He's following the block of Cameron, and there's the end zone. He blows over number 5, 6 points.
Nice looking drive that time for the youngsters from CW Post, and field position again figuring prominent as we get another look at good second effort. Great leg drive on the part of Joey Brusca. And we talked to Joe Carter. He's very high on Brusca. They try to get him at Hofstra, they were telling us.
Well, Brusca's an explosion type of a runner. Once he hits that corner, he's got the speed, plus he's got the strength to run over those cornerbacks, those safeties that try to come up and hit him on the line of scrimmage.
O'Brien will have to tee it up again as a burst of wind knocks the ball off the tee. O'Brien is their long kicker. Mark Cox and Carlos Smith are the deep men. Smith, the speedster, wide receiver. And Cox, one of the leaders in the nation after last week, had a 97-yard kickoff return, which, by the way, is not a record. Wayne Morris had a 100-yard return a couple of years ago against CW Post. How'd you like this job, Marty?
Well, at least you don't have to any just why the last one down on the kickoff.
Smith takes it inside the goal line to the 20, up the middle, and hit hard. A gang tackling effort there as he was brought down by a whole host of green shirts. And again, David Jadidian, one of the first guys to hit him there, along with number 57 getting up slowly. Mark into Simone. 27-yard return, and the ball up at around the 26-yard line where Hofstra put it in play 1st and 10. George Beisel now has Al Hagofsky in the ball game as the running back in this run and shoot. Faisal with time, throwing, complete to Steve Oblandi for the first down. He was shoved back after making the catch by Pat Marzo.
Oblandi just did an excellent job going up and bringing that ball down.
Quick huddle, no huddle offense here, which is something they wanted to speed up, not let Post get set in the secondary. Faisal in trouble. Chase throws for the sideline. Good play by Cologne to come back and get that ball, and he picks up about 6 on the play. That scoring drive, not a long one. And, of course, the big play, the 3-yard touchdown run by Bruska. Pickup of about 5, so let's call it 2nd and 5 for George Faisal. Hofstra trailing 6-0, 7:20 to go here in the first quarter. Too high for Scott Millington, and he couldn't reach it. It'll set up a 3rd down play.
The one thing Faisal's doing right here, Barry, is he's scrambling. He's mixing up the plays. He's rolling left. He's rolling right. The one thing he's avoiding post pass rush by not dropping back in the middle.
Out over the ball is Stefan Chernaski for Hofstra on 3rd down. Faisal 4 for 5 for 25 yards so far. Quick to Hagowski, and Hagowski will not get anything at all.